Hi, Penny. How are you today?
Good. Hi, Susan. I'm good. I'm excited.
I am so glad to be having this wisdom shared interview with you today. I am excited about the book series that you're working on. I'm excited to know you, especially because how I've watched and learned from you, how you've integrated the idea of surviving in life from things that are unmentionable and should never be experienced by anyone. So I really wanted to do this interview with you, and I want to invite you to share your purpose about the survival series with us today. And just so you know, this interview is only going to be about 10, no more than 15 minutes, and I'm a good timekeeper, so I may
Good.
interrupt you periodically, okay?
Perfect.
Okay, go
Perfect.
ahead.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Susan, for taking the time to interview the purpose and the reason for my series, my book series. I'm so excited that all this information, all this experienced life surviving, I have always wanted to make it more available to people.
Hmm.
Locally, it was by word of mouth. It was on Facebook. And it's going to be so exciting that I'll be able to help so many people with my mini series books.
Hmm.
I'm very excited.
It's so great. So, without going into detail or sharing whatever you would like, we're not talking about survival in the wilderness. We're not talking about wilderness survival skills.
No.
So, I know you shared with me some difficulties that you've overcome, but I want to, just really ask you to talk about the idea of the title survival series and what's an example of a survival tip that you might share, etc.
Well, Susan, the most horrific, fortunately, I was able to survive was the suicide of my son. I felt there was nothing out there. I felt I was crawling and grasping at something, looking for something to help me get from minute to minute, day to day.
Mm,
I knew there was more out there. I knew that I wanted to live, and I didn't know how to go on in life with all the challenges and struggles that you're up against when your son dies by suicide. So I so much feel that there's so many people out there that are exactly like I was, looking, struggling, asking, afraid to ask, on the internet. I didn't have the internet back then, not as much of the internet. Now we do. You
mm,
couldn't go to a library and ask for a book because you got looked at funny.
mm,
Now you can. I want this series to be something people go to bed with, they wake up with, and they can connect with every information that is in that book. It's going to be general. It's going to be common to everybody.
mm,
If you had a friend that lost a loved one to suicide, this book will be for you.
mm,
If you work in mental health and want to know how to help somebody that has lost a loved one, this book is for them.
mm,
So anybody will need this book.
mm. Tell me, tell me about your son. What was his name and how old was he?
Nicholas was our baby. He was the only son of 4 children, three
Mm,
girls, and he was 20 years old,
mm.
and he was very handsome. So he had girlfriends. He really
Did the
struggled.
girlfriends pass muster with the sisters?
Actually, he was fortunate to have some very good girlfriends.
Oh,
He did. He had some wonderful girlfriends. And today they still connect with us. We have a
oh,
special Facebook page, Remembering Nicholas. And so many of his friends, male friends, girlfriends, people he met, he was a helper to many people that struggled.
mm,
And they go on there and they leave messages. I have a Facebook page, Survivors of Suicide Loss, that talk about everything that we've done over the 13 and a half years.
Ah, okay.
And it's very widely used.
Mm. So now we already can begin to see the picture filling in on this survival book.
Yes.
So when you and I first met and started, you know, you were talking about book coaching, hiring me as your book coach and everything. And I just listened to your stories. I knew right away intuitively, of course, my work is intuitive. So I knew right away that you're trying to write one book about all these different things, because this was the hardest, most horrific for you to deal with. But there were other difficult things that you've overcome in your life. And I knew right away, you're not doing this in one book, not even with one chapter, another chapter. And so right away, I suggested the idea of a series. And
and that was perfect.
Yes.
That sat with me. Oh, that sat with me. It was amazing, because right away it was like, I don't have to puke this all out in order and set. It's like I can gradually roll it out so that everyone can understand in a simple term. Many terms, many steps. It's just a great idea. I loved it.
I'm so glad. And so from that time till now, and now from now forward, you have the survival series, and you have this seminal one that you're going to create. And then there'll be, and we're just at the beginning of this journey together, but there'll be other books related to other personal experiences and how it was that you survived them. And the purpose for doing this again is?
It's definitely to get the message out to anyone and everyone that feels a loss of identity when you have had a loss, had a tragedy. Many people feel a victim. You don't have to be defined as a victim because of a tragedy or an experience that has touched your heart. I remember when one of my horrific experiences and tragedies as a young person, I remembered wondering, who am I? Who am I? How can my heart pump blood through my system when it's been full of scarred? You feel you are scarred when you are hit with a tragedy, as you pick yourself up, crawling up the stairs to stand up on 2 feet. Are you stable, or will you fall again? Yes, you will fall again, but you can get up again too. So it's vital that people understand that not everybody will go through 5 steps, 7 steps, no steps. They don't go in order of 1 to 10. They can jump around all over the place. It's the uniqueness of a human being.
I'm looking away because I'm kind of receiving some energy here. I'm soaking this in. Did you say you remember when you were young, you had a dream asking, who am I? Is that what you said?
No, I used to ask myself that when a tragedy hit me.
Okay, so when you were in that space, you asked yourself, who am I? The who am I question is really one of the ultimate soul questions. And so that's why I really wanted to make sure I got that clear. And that is obviously one of the tools that you're going to be sharing, or tools, tips, strategies in the survival series. So something is coming up for me. Can you feel the idea of how you're on a road now and you're just going forward, but there's no desperation or even urgency? Can you
It's a calmness. It's very much a calmness. Like, I just feel like finally it's all come to me, and it's almost like butterflies, because it's not bouncing. the energy is very much just cruising around saying, I'm ready when you're ready to pull at me. When you want to talk about me, I'm here. You want to talk about me, I'm here. It's very calm and peaceful, even though there's a little bit of butterflies in the stomach. But I'm excited to have that handbook that will guide a person along the way. It may not bring them to where they want to be, because that's not the purpose. The purpose is you can be where you want to be. And I want to help you find a way to be where you want to be with that support along the way.
I mean, since I wrote my own books and have published my own books, and of course
Yes.
I'll have many more. I have seen, people have said to me, I have people who keep your book in my pocketbook, because I write little books, as
Yes.
you know, I've advised that here.
Yes.
I keep your book in my pocketbook. I keep your book by my bed. I pull it out when I need it. I read it, when I need to. I have a meditation book. My own meditation book is next to my bed. I open it up and I read the very brief meditations when I need to.
Yes.
The idea of what we're talking about here for women who have suffered trauma is beautiful and nearly profound.
Yes.
So honestly, I want to say thank you for, it doesn't feel brave. It doesn't feel courageous. I'm looking and searching and seeking for the word. It is, I can't find it, because I don't get any energy of you're having to push through to be brave or anything like that. It's just natural. Oh, it's an offering. I just want to thank you for the offering that you are making on behalf of any single reader who needs to feel the connection that you're offering. So let me just ask you, if somebody is watching this and they'd like to get in touch with you, how would you like them to get in touch with you?
Oh, Susan, they could certainly find me on Facebook, this amazing Facebook group, Discovering You Again. It's just given me such joy. And it also, they could find me as Penny Myers on Facebook.
And that's how do you spell Myers?
Myers.
Okay, good.
I know there are many out there, but they will find me. They will find me. I know they will, if they're supposed to connect. If they look for Remembering Nicholas on Facebook, they will find me. And I'm on YouTube. They can find the YouTube videos. But most of all, they will find me if they want to and need to. Yes.
When I created the Discovering You Again Facebook community, it was only just this year.
Wow.
Only just this year in February that I finally had my own breakthrough to actually create the Facebook community that I wanted to for this purpose. And I've watched you and many others engage. And so really that is the outlet that I wanted to create for us to speak, not just to each other, but to those other people who will find us. So we invite people to join us there. Discovering You Again for women in the second half of life. Well, listen, Penny, this is not the last interview that we're going to have. We're going to have more interviews as you go on your journey of writing these books. I want to thank you so much for meeting with me today. I cannot wait to see how this begins to unfold.
Me as well. Thank you so much, Susan. It's a pleasure to be here.
You're so welcome. And I want to wish you the very best. I'll talk to you soon. Take care.